Find your way onto your back, lowering on your mat. And settling into your Shavasana. Taking up some space, sending your arms and legs wide at your sides. Allow the limbs to grow heavy on the floor. A gentle tuck in the chin invites length up the back of your neck. The shoulder blades tuck beneath you, creating a sense of openness through the chest. Become aware of your breath as it moves in and out through your nose. Follow that same breath in through the nose and fill your belly up towards the sky. As you breathe out, let the belly soften, contract. Big breath in, belly rise. And a slow breath out as the belly falls. Each breath in is your body's invitation to take up space in the room you've chosen for your practice. And each breath out really grounding you here on your mat. Notice any little areas of your body that are feeling the desire to move. Just resist that temptation. Find stillness throughout the entire body, from the tip of your toes to the top of your head. And when you feel those sudden urges to move, to fidget, to twitch, turn your awareness to your breath. Notice the constant movement of belly and chest as the breath moves through your body. And let that movement be enough. With the limbs still in stillness, turn your gaze over the right shoulder, bringing the right ear down towards the mat. Keep the left shoulder rooted into the floor. You can play with the height of your chin, maybe drawing it a little closer to the shoulders, maybe a little further away. Just find where it feels good in your neck. Bring the gaze back through center and over to the left. Draw the right shoulder away from your right ear and down into the mat. Let your gaze come back through center. And start to wake the limbs, the hands, the feet by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Taking some gentle rotations through the wrists and the ankles in both directions. Slide your feet together at the bottom of your mat and draw the right knee in towards your chest. Interlace your fingers around the right knee. Right hip crease is reaching away from your shoulders and down into your mat. You can stay in stillness or maybe take some gentle rotations with the right knee. See if you can keep the left hip as stable as possible. You can even place your left hand on it, encouraging stillness into that area, really isolating the movement to the right. Move your circles in the opposite direction. Find stillness in the center. From here, transition your grip to the back of your right thigh. Start to reach the right foot up towards the ceiling. Deep flex in your ankle. Draw your right toes towards your face. I'm just noticing your range of motion here. How close are you able to get the toes to the floor behind you? Pausing where you feel a bit of a stretch to the back of your right thigh. That moment that sensation starts, never going beyond. Just noticing how far you're able to stretch into this pose here. And then slowly bend the knee, hug it back in towards your chest. If you found that a little bit too intense, you can always bend the left knee, bring the sole of the left foot onto the floor. That'll help ease off a little bit for you. Hug the right knee in close towards your chest, gaining contact between the belly and the thigh. Both hips equally rooted into the mat. Keep that contact between your belly and the thigh. So we're not letting the knee draw away from the chest here. Keep the contact, and we're going to start to reach the foot up towards the ceiling until you feel a stretch in the back of your right thigh. Rather than sending the thigh away to ease off that stretch, just pause in that area. Don't worry about straightening the leg here. You can have a deep bend in the knee. We're just pausing as soon as you feel a stretch into the right thigh. Take a few moments here to point and flex through the ankle. So reach the toe towards the ceiling. Draw it towards your face. Just alternating between pointing and flexing through the right toes while maintaining that sense of stretch in the back of your right thigh. Next time your toe points, release, draw the heel in towards your bum. Keep the thigh squeezed in towards your belly. Take a big breath here. And let it go. Another round of that, so the thigh stays drawn in close towards your belly as you reach the heel towards the ceiling until you feel a stretch. Hold on to that stretch as you point and flex the ankle. Next time the toes are pointed, bend the knee, heel comes in towards your bum. Take a big breath here for a rest. Let the muscles relax. And one final round of that on this side. Reach the heel towards the ceiling. Thigh squeezes in towards your belly. Pointing and flexing through the ankle. Really reaching the toes towards the sky as you extend and drawing them towards your face as you flex, finding the absolute extreme point of that point and flex, as far as your body allows. Next time the toes point to the sky, relax, let the heel come in towards your bum, big breath here, let it go. Fingers stay interlaced behind the thigh, but this time allow the thigh to come away from the belly. Reach the foot up towards the sky, creating distance between the right heel and the back of your thigh, and just see if you've gained any range of motion here in this pose. Maybe the toes are able to reach a little bit further behind your head, even if it's just a centimeter. If the left leg is extended, start to bend the knee now, bringing the sole of your left foot to the mat. Turn the right toes to face the right side of the room, bend through your right knee. Let the pinky toe edge of your right foot land on your left thigh. Creating a figure 4 shape with your legs. Send the right knee away from your shoulders. Rooting down through the left hip. Equally from left to right, but typically when we come into this pose, that left hip starts to lift up, so really focus on pressing it into the mat. If you're not quite feeling a stretch into the outer right hip and glute, you can start to draw the left knee in towards the left shoulder, take hold of the back of the left thigh, or maybe even the left shin. As much as the left knee draws in, the right knee continues to reach away from the shoulders. Right ankle stays flexed with your toes drawn towards your shin, but the left ankle can relax. If you notice that your shoulders or your tailbone are starting to lift up off of the mat, it could be a sign that you're going a little too far. Maybe try instead to place your left foot onto a block or a stack of books. Or you can use a strap in your hands to add extra length to your arms. Slowly lower your left foot onto the mat. Keep the right foot where it is. Extend your arms out wide at your sides or take a cactus formation. Lengthen through your spine. And then let the knees find their way over to the right. So the inseam of the left pant leg and the outside of the right leg are coming towards the floor. You can use your right foot as a little bit of added weight on the left knee, but never being forceful. Send the left hip up towards the ceiling and over to the right as you ground down through the left knee. Gaze is at the ceiling or over to the left. Breathing space into the left waist, left lower belly with every breath. Let your gaze come back through center, knees will follow. Let the right foot join the left on the floor. Hug both your knees in close to your belly and give them a squeeze. A gentle rock from side to side, massaging your low back. Find stillness in the center, and then extend your legs long to the bottom of your mat. Take a mini shavasana here, settling into stillness and just scanning the body. Noticing any subtle changes from left to right sides. Slide your feet together at the bottom of your mat. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Interlace the fingers around it for wind relieving pose. This is an excellent pose for digestion. Helps to massage internal organs with every breath. Reaching through your right heel, the left ankle soften. Creating length with each breath in and hugging the left knee in a little bit closer with each breath out. Staying in stillness, working on your wind relieving pose, or just start to take some gentle rotations through your left knee. As stable as you can remain on the right side, maybe even placing the right hand on the right hip to encourage that stillness. Rotating the opposite direction. Find stillness in the center, hug the left knee in. Transition your grip to the back of your left thigh. Keep the right leg active here. Start to reach the heel of the left foot up towards the ceiling. So the first time we're going to allow the thigh to come away from the belly and just see where your range of motion is today. This can vary from day to day and even from morning to evening. So never holding judgment or attachment to any certain depth of this pose. Just finding that point of sensation where you feel a stretch starting in the back of the thigh and pausing there with breath. Reaching the left hip away from the shoulders and down into the mat as the left heel reaches up towards the sky. Start to gently bend the left knee, drawing the left thigh back into the belly, the heel towards the bum. Find that point of contact between thigh and belly and pause there. Don't let the thigh leave the belly as you start to extend the left heel up to the ceiling again, pausing once you feel the thigh starting to inch away. That moment when you feel the back of your thigh engage, and that little gentle stretch. Maintain that position of the thigh bone as you start to point and flex through the left ankle. Creating length up the front of the ankle as you point the toes to the sky. And engaging the calf muscles, drawing them in towards the bone as you draw your toes to your face. You may even feel the thigh muscle engaging beneath your hands as they interlace on the thigh. Next time the toes point, draw the heel back towards the bum. Take a big breath here. Let it go. Thigh stays drawn in close, reach the foot back towards the sky. Find your edge. And then work on pointing and flexing through your toes, activating the thigh muscles, the calf muscles. Squeezing the glutes. Notice that the right toes have started to point over to the side. Can you keep them pointing to the ceiling and drawn towards your face? Right leg stays active through all of these motions. Next time you point through your toes, gently bend the knee, bring the heel to your bum, and take a big breath. Find softness on the out breath, and we'll move through one final round. Reach the left heel towards the ceiling. Squeeze your left thigh to your belly, pressing the left hip into the floor, and then work through that pointing and flexing motion of the ankle. Next time you point through the toes, bring the heel to the bum. One big breath here. Slowly let it go. And then we'll reach the heel towards the ceiling, this time allowing the thigh to leave the belly. See if you're able to gain a little bit of motion, a little more depth into this pose. If you've created a little more space through the back of your left thigh. Left heel's reaching up, but the left hip is pressing down into the mat. Keep your left toes and the right toes drawn towards your face. And start to bend through your right knee, bringing the sole of your right foot onto the mat. Turn your left toes to face the left side room and bend the left knee. Pinky toe edge of your left foot lands on the right thigh as you send the left knee away from your shoulders. Just taking a moment in this pose to even out through the hips, squaring them with your shoulders and finding equal weight from left to right. Guide the left knee away from your shoulders, and if you're still not feeling a stretch, start to draw the right knee in towards the right shoulder, taking hold of the back of the right thigh, or maybe the front of the right shin. Option to use a strap, a leash, a belt between the hands, even a long towel will work. To add length to the arms and make this a little more accessible, you can also step the right foot up onto a block or stack of books instead. As the right knee draws in towards the right shoulder, the left knee is reaching away. You're grounding down equally through all four corners of the pelvis. Long spine, gentle tuck in the chin, find some softness through your face. Slowly lower the right foot onto the mat. Release your arms. And with the legs still in that figure four position, we'll start to tip over to the left. So coming onto the inner arch of the right foot, bring the inseam of the right pant leg towards the floor, the right hip will lift. The outside of the left knee reaches down for the floor as well. And you can use the left foot as a little bit of added weight on the right knee, setting it down a little bit closer towards the floor without being forceful, while staying heavily rooted through the right shoulder and lifting the right hip up and over to the left. Gaze can be neutral or over to the right. See if you can keep both ankles flexed. Creating as much distance as you can between the right knee and the right shoulder. Gaze comes back through center. The knees will follow. Let the left foot find the floor. And a gentle rock from side to side with the knees. Find some stillness in the center. Bring the right arm up overhead and roll over onto your right side body. Draw the knees in a little bit closer towards the chest, really rounding through your spine. You can use the right arm as a pillow, let the left palm rest softly on the floor or on your body. When you feel ready, find your way up to a tabletop position. In your tabletop, you want the shoulders over the wrist, hips over the knees. Gaze is neutral. We'll move through a few cat and cows. Big breath in, lift the tailbone, belly drops, heart comes forward, gaze comes up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone around through the spine as you hollow out your chest and gaze to your belly button. Big breath in, let the tailbone lift up, belly drops, heart comes forward, gaze comes up. Exhale, tuck your tailbone round through the spine as you gaze to your belly button, chin to chest. Inhale, count. Exhale, cat. Inhale, count. Exhale, cat. Following your own rhythm of breath, finding 3 more at your own pace. No rush at all, but when you get there, just landing in a neutral spine. Walk the knees back a couple of inches, find a modified plank. Stay open through the heart, through the collarbones, shoulders over wrists, belly button and lowest ribs draw in. The elbows start to bend as they graze your ribs, lowering with control to your mat. Palms stay on the floor beneath the shoulders. Press down through the shoelace side of your feet, reach through your big toes. As you inhale, lengthen and lift. collarbone and 1 or 2 ribs up off of the floor. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Keep pressing through your feet. Lower down. Lengthen and lift on the in-breath. Lower on the out-breath. And this time we're going to lengthen and lift and hold the lift. Really pressing down through your feet here, so much so that the knees start to lift. And if you have low back sensitivity, try creating a little bit of space between the feet, send them wider apart. Working on building some strength in our low backs. Gaze is neutral, keep your chin drawn in slightly towards the chest, but not all the way. And we're still breathing. One more big breath in. Maybe you're able to find just a little more height. And as you exhale, lower down. Let the big toes come to touch, the heels fall wide apart. Release your arms back behind you. Gaze over to the right. Letting your left ear rest on the floor and taking this moment for the low back to reset in a little front belly shavasana. Bring the gaze back through neutral. Draw the heels towards one another. Again, just finding a little bit of space between the feet if you like to support your low back, if you have sensitivities in that area. Bring the arms out in front of you, forearms to the mat. Start to slowly rise up. We're going to come into a bit of a shoulder and upper back stretch here. So with the arms out in front of you, start to turn the right hand towards the left side. We're going to slide the left hand over to the, or right hand rather, over to the left. Turn the left fingertips towards the right and slide it over to the right. So you can see that the arms are now crossed, left in front of right. Palms face the floor and start to walk the arms further and further apart as you lower your chest to the mat. Now, for some, this may be really intense. If that's the case, you can always bring a pillow beneath the chest to ease off some of the weight for you. We're just crossing at the shoulders. Gaze is to the floor. And keep walking the fingertips further and further away from one another, drawing the shoulder blades apart on your back. Now you can rest your forehead on another pillow or on a block if you have one. And just letting the weight of your upper body deepen that stretch. Being mindful of any previous shoulder injuries. Just the same as we send our breath into our belly, can you send your breath into the space between the shoulder blades? Take a big breath in through the nose. Feel the upper back expanding in all directions, drawing the shoulder blades away from one another. As you exhale, they soften and draw back in towards the midline. Really focusing on that breath. Giving yourself permission to come out at any time that this becomes too much. Maybe every once in a while you're able to deepen a little bit further by walking the fingertips further away. Pressing down firm through the palms, through the fingertips as you breathe in. We're going to slowly rise back up by inching the fingertips back towards one another, bending through the elbows. Bringing the forearms back in front of you, lowering down. Big toes come to touch, heels go wide apart. Send your arms back behind you, gaze to the left. Once again, allowing the low back to reset, to release, letting go of any tension that may have developed there. Feel the weight of the shoulders, of the arms settling into your mat. Bring the gaze back through center, draw the heels towards one another. Once again, bring the arms out in front of you, rising up onto forearms. We're going to move through that stretch on the opposite side. So start to turn first the left fingertips towards the right. Right fingertips go to the left. This time the right arm is in front of the left. Start to slowly walk the fingertips to their opposite sides of the room. Left fingertips are walking to the right, right fingertips are walking to the left. Each time the fingers slide further apart, start to lower your chest closer towards the floor or to your prop. So remembering to place a pillow or a rolled up blanket beneath you if that helps to support some of the weight from your chest. Palms are facing the floor and pressing down into the mat. You can rest your forehead onto a block or onto a pillow. And see if you can keep the arms in line with the shoulders. So they're not tucked deep underneath of you and they're not coming out beyond your chin. Working towards straight arms, but it's okay to have a bit of a bend in the elbows as you're working your way through this stretch. I have a lot of hypermobility in the shoulders, so I'm probably a good bit closer to the floor than you are. That's normal. Pressing down through the palms, and without actually moving the hands, think about drawing the hands towards one another. Isometric movement, so it's as though you're imagining the movement without it actually happening. As those hands are drawing towards one another, pressing down into the mat, the shoulders are reaching away from each other. Finding those opposing forces. Breathing space between the shoulder blades, finding expansion. And just a few more breaths here. And slowly start to ease out, however it works for you. You can try shifting weight from side to side as you draw the elbows in. Bring the forearms out in front of you. Lower back down. Palms come to the floor. press yourself up through tabletop and find a narrow leg child's pose. So hips go back towards the heels. As much space as you need between the thighs to allow your belly to rest softly, but keeping the knees as narrow as you can so that you're able to rest the forehead on the mat or on a block and send the arms back behind you. You can always leave the arms out in front if this is not comfortable for you. It's just a good way to allow those shoulders to relax and reset after that stretch. Let the forehead rest on something, whether that's the floor or a block is up to you. This is giving the low back a bit of time to find some space, releasing through the shoulders, letting go of any effort. Sending the breath to the low back, to the pelvis, the waist. And letting the hips grow heavy as they sink towards your heels. Bring the hands out in front of you. And find your way up to a tabletop. A gentle sway from side to side, let that go. Sending one shoulder to the hip and then the other. Find some stillness in your tabletop. Extend the right leg long behind you. Tuck the toes. We're going to press down through the right heel as if you're trying to touch the right heel onto the mat. Keep your hips as even as you can. So we're not lifting the right hip up here. They're in line with one another, long spine. Keep pressing down through the right heel. Feeling a stretch up the back of your right calf. Shift a little weight forward. Turn the right toes to face the right side of the room. Lift your left foot. It can kickstand behind you as you reach the right fingertips high towards the ceiling. And then overhead, right arm in line with the right ear, gazes forward, creating length up the right side body here. I'm at a wall, so I'm going to bend my elbow to create space, but you can extend the right fingertips long if you have the room to do so. In my particular situation, I'm going to reach through the elbow. In your situation, you can reach through the fingertips. Really grounding down to the pinky toe edge of your right foot. Sending your right waist to the sky. Bring the right arm back towards the ceiling. Pivot it onto the floor. As you come back into your three-legged tabletop, right toes point towards the right, bend the right knee as you step forward to the top right corner of the mat. Take as many steps as you need. You can even use your right hand to pick up the foot and move it forward if you need. From here, we're going to heel toe the right foot through center, framing it with our hands. As much or as little bend in the left leg as you need. So you may be closer to a 90-degree bend, that's fine, as long as you're feeling a stretch in the front of your left thigh. You can have the shoelace side of your left foot on the floor, or if that's uncomfortable on your knee, you can also bend and flex at the ankle, bringing your toes onto the mat. Right knee is pointing in the same direction as the right toes, not jetting out to the side. Think about squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, the outer hips reach out and back. And find a straight spine. just looking to find some stretch to the front of that left thigh, the inner left hip. Strengthening through the right. Again, that isometric movement, so without actually moving the foot, think about drawing your right heel towards the back of your mat. From here, start to walk your hands back, shifting your hips towards your left heel, coming up onto the right heel. You can bring your hands onto blocks if you like, to add length to the arms, make the ground more accessible so you can have that tall spine. Some people find it more comfortable to sit their right hip onto their left heel, but that's not necessarily where we're going with this pose. So for a while there, I thought that's what I was trying to do, and that sitting my hips down meant I was doing a good job, but it doesn't actually matter. We're just looking to find a stretch to the back of the right thigh here. Draw your toes towards your face. Think about sending your hips towards the back of the mat and the top of your head in the opposite direction. So it's that long spine as you fold over the right thigh that's going to get you that stretch. If you start to round through the back, you're going to feel this in your low back instead. Walk the hands forward to frame your front foot. Taking another big breath here in your low lunge. Right hand comes to the inside of the right foot, heel toe over to the right. Shift your hips back as you slide the right leg to meet the left or return to tabletop, however that looks in your body. Maybe a gentle sway from side to side. Swinging the hips, maybe bringing shoulder to hips, whichever feels good. Let your head fall heavy, release through the neck. As we prepare for the second side. Find stillness through your tabletop. Extend the left leg long. Tuck your toes and let them find the floor. Press down through the left heel. Equal weight on both the big toe mound and pinky toe mound of your foot, so we're not tipping over to the pinky toe side or to the inner arch. See if you can keep your hips even, rather than one hip higher than the other. Shift your weight forward. Turn your left toes to face the left side of the room. Lift your right foot up like a kickstand, bring it behind you. Left fingertips reach high towards the ceiling. Adjusting to have the right hand under the right shoulder. Avoid sinking into the right shoulder here. Be strong through that right side. And then extend the left fingertips up overhead, creating a long line of energy from the left fingers to the pinky toe edge of your left foot. Reaching your left waist up towards the sky. The pelvis and the chest are square with the room in front of you. So notice that this left shoulder is starting to creep towards the floor, showing the chest to the floor. Can you open up through your chest and shine it towards the room in front of you? Left fingertips point back towards the ceiling. Pivot to your three-legged tabletop. Turn your left toes to face the left side room. Bend the left knee as you step forward. Top left corner of your mat. Heel toe, the left foot through center. And settle into your low lunge. Adjusting your stance however you need. And see if you can widen it a little bit. So a lot of times we come into a tightrope situation here, but create a little bit of space between the inner left arch and the inside of the right knee. Widen your stance to about hip distance apart. That's going to help with your balance. Left knee's pointing in the same direction as the left toes, not pointing outwards or inwards. An equal weight on all four corners of the left foot as you isometrically draw the left heel towards the back of the mat. Squeezing those inner thighs towards one another as the outer hips reach out to the side and back behind you. Again, this is always a great opportunity if you have yoga blocks to bring them under your hands and allow you to stay a little more open through the chest and find that tall spine. Start to walk your hands with or without blocks back towards the hips. Come up onto the left heel, draw your toes towards your face. Find that length through your spine. So the tailbone is reaching towards the heels, but that doesn't mean it's trying to sit on it. You're going to find that instinctively your right hip starts to creep back further than the left. Really focus on drawing the left hip crease towards that right heel. Tall spine. And then fold forward. Yoga blocks work well because there's different levels, different heights that you can choose to suit your body and your particular day. And keep the toes drawing towards your shin on the left. And then walking your hands forward to frame your left foot, finding a big breath here in your low lunge. Left hand comes to the inside of the left foot. Heel toe, the left foot to the outer edge. Shift your hips back towards your tabletop as the left leg slides back to meet the right. A gentle sway from side to side with your hips. Big toes come to touch, knees go wide apart this time. Send your hips back towards your heels for a child's pose. Letting the forehead rest on something, so that may be a block or the floor. You can bring the elbows to rest on the mat. Stay here in your child's pose, or you can bring the palms of the hands towards each other to touch in prayer. Pinky fingers starting on the mat. From there, start to draw the fingertips up towards the ceiling. So the palms are still in prayer. The palms are touching, but the fingertips start to reach up towards the ceiling. Maybe the thumb starts to reach towards your neck as the fingertips point behind you. Keep your heart shining down towards the floor, reaching for the mat. Option, if you have space to move further, is to bring your elbows up onto blocks for this. Allowing more space for the chest to sink down towards the mat. Bringing the thumbs towards the shoulder blades. Really squeezing your palms towards one another. Pressing your heart down towards the floor. But Again, giving yourself permission to stay in just a normal child's pose here. Slowly begin to release by bringing the palms back towards the floor. Slide away blocks if you've used them. And find your way up to a tabletop. Gentle sway from side to side. We'll come to land on our backs. With the knees bent to begin. Draw the right knee in towards the chest, extend the left leg long. Take the right knee in the left hand, release the right arm at your side as you find a twist. Guide the right knee across your body over to the left. You can place a pillow or a block beneath the knee for some support, or you can let it hang in space. Gaze to the ceiling or over to the right. Twists can be really great for the spine. Can also help detoxify the body. It's really important that you're not forceful in this position. Never trying to go beyond your body's natural stopping point. Gaze comes back through center, right knee will follow. Hug it in close. Let the left knee come in to join the right. And then extend the right leg long to the bottom of your mat. Left arm comes at your side, lengthening through the spine first, and then find your twist. Lowering the left knee onto a block, a pillow, or just letting it be in space. The gaze is to the ceiling or over to the left. Gaze comes back through center. The left knee will follow. Hug the right knee in to meet the left. Give them a squeeze. And then let the soles of your feet find the floor. Tall spine here. Gentle tuck in the chin lengthens the neck. Send the shoulder blades beneath you. Let the soles of the feet come to touch. The knees fall open like a book, creating a diamond shape with the legs. The closer the heels are to the pelvis, the more of a stretch you'll be feeling. You can also feel nice to place blocks beneath the knees for some added support, or slide the heels away from the pelvis to ease off on the stretch a little bit. Letting this become more restorative, more restful. Bring the arms at your sides, let the palms face up. The shoulder blades continue to tuck beneath you, creating a sense of openness through the chest. Feel the support of the feet on one another. Sense of openness through the thighs, through the hips, pelvis. Allow the arms to grow heavy at your sides, releasing all effort from them. Palms face up, fingertips weightless. The arms relax. The head grows heavy on the mat. The face is soft. Invite the eyes to close if they haven't already. Gaze softens behind the eyelids. The eyes grow heavy in their sockets. Relax your jaw, your tongue. Turn your awareness to breath as it moves in and out through your nose. Feeling the gentle rise and fall of belly and chest with every passing breath. Perhaps you choose to stay in this posture for the remainder of your time. Or while maintaining as much stillness in the upper body as you can, as much weight, as much heaviness. Start to extend the legs one by one to the bottom corners of your mat. Releasing through the ankles, let the toes grow heavy. Find your way into your final resting pose, Shavasana. The upper body is still heavy with stillness, completely relaxed, surrenders to the mat. As the legs start to join in that stillness, releasing all muscles away from the bones, melting deeper and deeper into the mat with each breath out. The entire body engulfed in stillness. Finding a sense of ease, calming the mind, settling into breath. This posture, this practice of breath can be yours for as long as you choose to allow it to be. As always, I encourage you to take up as much time here on your mat as you have available to you. When you do feel ready to get up and go, just offer yourself 1 or 2 more breaths. Each time you stay, you'll find it's easier to stay a little bit longer. With such gratitude as always for you joining me in practice. Namaste.